the Stock Talk. This show, Scott. Hope you've had a good day in trading today. We had a rough day. Novavax had a down day before earnings. They had an earnings call afterwards, and the news was not good. So we'll talk about that a little bit as we get into the portfolio. Other than that, the NASDAQ was down as well, so it was a pretty good pullback on NASDAQ, and the market, the Dow was up pretty good, actually 300 points. And then some news came out about Iran messing with some of our boats, and that kind of brought the whole market down. So I think we ended up in the red all the way across the board, but I was primarily watching Novavax. We're going to talk about that a good bit when we jump into that here. So let's go ahead and get over there to our portfolio and talk about some of the things that we did recently. So here's the portfolio, as you can see here. Let me get up here where we can see today's market. Okay, we're at the futures already, but we were red across the board. Looks like the futures are starting out a little red as well. But here's our portfolio. MPC actually sold this one Friday. Bought it last Thursday, sold it Friday. We made a 1.21% gain on that. Sold it at $60. This one had a pretty good day today. It went up for a little bit on some news about the pipeline being hacked and that kind of thing. Got all the way up to 61.10. But I had already sold out at 60, and so made that 1.21% in about 2 days. So that's a good CD money in 2 days. We'll take that. That's all we pocketed so far this month, I think. We did that in both IRAs. So good week last week as far as pocketing goes. Other than that, it was a bad week for the portfolio. And today is starting out with another bad day, and we'll talk about that. Look at all the red. You can see it here. It was not a good day for a lot of them. You see 6 and 8% down. Tesla down over 6%. The NASDAQ was down over 300 at one time. I'm not sure where it ended up, but it was in pretty bad shape. See Tesla chart all the way down, straight down all day. So this is getting in that range where I would normally be buying, but right now I don't know where this stuff's going to stop. So I'm just kind of holding off on that. I'm sitting around 36, 38% cash. So we don't want to really put a whole lot of that at work until we see if this market's going to hold up. All right, MSTR, another one, took a big hit today, 8%, $51 a share off on that one. So not good. This one is a Bitcoin proxy, more or less. It's they own a lot of Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin has been doing good as of late. Today it pulled back a little bit, but over the weekend it was hitting that 59 level, 59K as far as that goes. And this one was all impacted by the NASDAQ pulling back today. So you're really probably getting a good benefit there, this versus the amount of Bitcoin they own and at the price of the Bitcoin. But the NASDAQ is actually pulling it down, so you've got a pretty good gap on what really this should be. So it's probably a good buy, but again, I'm trying to hold off on what I'm buying right now because I'm not sure what this market's going to do or where it's going to stop. This could be one of those go away in May, and it may not, may keep going down. So didn't touch it. X we don't have, but it actually was up in the green today and pulled back towards the end of the day. The Dow was green most of the day, actually up about 300 points. And then that pullback happened when those Iranian boats started messing with our boats. So that's what pulled that market back. And let's see, HUT MF, 6% down. Everything's got the same red all over it and downward trends for the day. Again, this one is a Bitcoin miner. I'm not sure why really this one's going down because Bitcoin has been going up, but it was up, like I said, up this weekend, but it did pull back today during regular business hours. So that might have had something to do with it. Here's the one that's caused us all the pain today. So as you can see, 8.8% in pre-market. This is just for the market close, 160. And then they had earnings after hours, and you can see what it did after hours, another 12%. This is a pretty good low here. I hate to see this. This is did have some volume, 5 million shares. That includes your after hours, I believe. So the volume was semi-normal at during the day, so wasn't real panicked about this. But this after hours has really taken a beating. And let's see if we can pull up the chart on this. Let's see if we can just pull this chart up. See if you can see the after hours. But it was a bad after hours. Let me pull this 1 day chart. Let's see if we can get that. Here we go. So there's your close, and you can see, let's see if it shows it here. Now that's pretty much at the end of the day. So not showing us the after hours there, I don't think. Bottom line is it did have a tough after hours. You can see here $20 more down in the after hours. I think this is kind of overdone. We're going to watch it tomorrow. I listened to the conference call myself. What's causing this is everything's delayed. They were supposed to have some news out about the U.S. and Mexico trials, and they had to do some changes to the way they were doing those trials, the way I understood what he was saying on the conference call. And that kind of delayed that. So that should be out, he says, in a few weeks. We've heard that before. And that's the problem with the stock today, because when you say something and it doesn't happen, that's a bad for a stock. It's all about what you say sometimes and whether you deliver on what you say. So the stock is broken right now, but the company's still not broken. Based off of what I heard on the conference call, everything's still going forward, but it's just some things have been delayed. The manufacturing of some of the doses, they were supposed to have a certain amount of doses by now, and they didn't meet that number because of some issues with some of the supplies and things like that. Some of the manufacturing issues. But I did make some notes on the call. These filings were delayed. All those challenges that they have been facing have been overcome, according to what he said. The manufacturing's been validated to be up and running in all these different countries. I think it's 10 countries now that they're actually manufacturing these doses in. So he says it's top priority to get all that going. But a lot of it's not going to be done until in the third quarter. So end of June possibly. So they hope to have approvals of the third quarter sometime in the third quarter. Full operation capacity by the fourth quarter. So all cylinders clicking by the fourth quarter, but approvals hopefully by the end of the third. So that's what we're waiting on, those approvals, and we were hoping we'd have them, this month or next month at the very latest. So we'll still have to wait on that and see what happens there. They are building the inventory up now. As far as I could tell, there wasn't any issues there now, but they're still building those inventories up. Based on what I was understanding on the call, some of this approval, requires you have to kind of show that you can manufacture these doses and deliver. So I think that's probably part of the problem with getting the approvals done, because they can't fill out that paperwork to be satisfactory to those manufacturing numbers. So the way I understood it, that was it. So they hadn't even requested approvals yet. So once they do that, of course, then you've got the other side of possible delays, where the whoever you're turning that into, whichever country it is, you're kind of at their mercy as to when they take a look at it and then when they approve it. But here's the good news: is the manufacturing is happening. They're creating the doses now, and I think that's all been worked out. So this is not a broken company by any means. Some communications probably could have been better. Some expectations might have been a little bit better done. But this is the price you pay when you don't meet your expectations and you don't do the things that you say you're going to do. But that one encouraging thing that I did see that on the numbers as far as the revenues and things like that they were awesome as far as the quarter goes. Of course, they got a lot of funding from Operation Warp Speed, so that's why they got so much revenue. They also are now holding 2 billion, I think it was, in cash and cash equivalents. So that indicates to me that we're probably not going to have any kind of shelf offering or anything like that may dilute our shares. Hopefully, they won't do anything like that with that kind of cash on hand. But of course, it's going to require a lot of cash to crank up these doses. So who knows about the finances part of it? But they didn't indicate anything like that on the call today. Their focus was on getting the manufacturing going and getting these approvals done. So I feel good about that. I don't feel good about where the stock went today in after hours. Again, the good news about that is the volume was not, 3 times normal volume or anything like that. So that to me kind of indicates the big boys are probably the ones that's snatching up all these shares that are being sold at these cheap prices. So just be patient. If you've got it, I'm holding mine. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to hang on to it. May actually add some once I see that this thing settles a little bit and it's, all the bad news is baked in. It's going to be a rough day tomorrow for sure. So don't expect a whole lot tomorrow or possibly even this week. I don't know where the bottom's at. Looking at the charts, let's go back to that chart. And I want to show you something on the chart. Let's pull that chart up and take a look at a 6-month view. You see the 6-month view here. These levels we're at now in after hours with 135, 140, whatever it was. We've seen this before. We got down to 158 here, 157 there. And of course, we were here at 131 before the big run. So I mean, we've been there. This is the level we could get to for sure. This 131 all the way down to this 120 level. So don't be surprised if we don't get there, and we just kind of ride along there until we get this news, and then we're going to see one of these jumps. I don't know that we're going to see this, just depending on what kind of approvals we get and that kind of thing. But I definitely don't think there'll be any kind of problems getting to these levels here once we get over these humps. But just hang tough. That's what I'm going to do. And if you've got it, sometimes you just got to wait these things out. This is probably the level we're going to end up at. If we can hang it, if we can close above that, some of the levels I was looking at, let's see if it was a 1-month chart I was looking at, but some of these levels here, let's see. Yeah, right in here. I think the last time I was looking at I saw a level of 145, 140 something. Those levels there seems like if it holds that 140 something, 145 tomorrow, that would be a good sign. Today's wall was around 150. When I was checking earlier, it was 150. 155. It was, it held that 155 for a while, and then once it got through there, it kind of just went kind of on a downward hill spiral there. But that's where we're at, and there's not much we can do about it right now other than be patient, add to it if you want to. You can read the articles here. Sees plunges amid dismay over timeline of COVID-19 shots. Why it tanked. All kinds of articles out there today. Some of them, not too friendly, but they, you get what you pay for. Sometimes if you don't do what you need to do, things go down. So, all right. So this one here, Virgin Galactic. They were also having earnings, and I think they missed on the earnings, so they're down in the after hours as well. So not going to be a good day for that one tomorrow. That one's been a very big disappointment. Nikola, not really paying a lot of attention to that one today. Kind of on the back burner, not really worried about that one. Let's see if we got any earnings coming up on any time. Looks like we've already had earnings. So that one there, just kind of moseying along there. Not a whole lot going on with it right now. but we're just kind of stuck right now. This is the danger that you get into sometimes when you're in the market and things pull back and you get back, you get down so far that it's really, you don't want to sell because you just you're taking a loss when you probably don't need to take a loss on a lot of these things because they'll be back. You just got to hang on to them. Sometimes they'll be back within a month or before the year's over with, and sometimes it's years. It could be a couple of years, 2 years, but it's, unless you got a better place to put your money, you don't want to sell anything and take that loss. Or not me. That's the way I think anyway. Some of you may think totally different. That's fine. But as far as my strategy goes, I usually hang on to things until they turn green. I'm just that stubborn. There's been a few that never did, and that's, you pay the price for that as well. But anyway, not a good day. These are the tough days, and you just got to, try to work through them. We do need to try to see if we can get us a good trade on something this week. It might be the QQQ. I may try to pull that again. Uh, if we get another down day on the NASDAQ, if I get 4 or 5 down days in a row, I may jump into the NASDAQ, the QQQ, to see if I can get a quick 1% or something on my money that's sitting on the side, and try to make a little what I call CD money. There's nothing wrong with that. You can make it in a few days. That's awesome. So just keep thinking about it in two different ways. That's what I do. I'm thinking about it as, my pocketing the money, which we've had a really, really good year of that so far. And the other part is the portfolio, which right now it doesn't look that great. I think we're down, actually went red today as far as the portfolio goes for the year. Had been up all year, but this I think has gotten us under that mark, so we're actually turned red for the year. So, and it's all Novavax right now that's doing that to us pretty much. Well, I say that we've got some MSTR too that's not helping us any either. But pretty much everything we're holding is turning red. So that's because most of them's in the NASDAQ. But that's the way it goes sometimes. This thing don't go all the way straight up all the time. So you got to learn how to deal with that. And the way I deal with it is I just keep things in perspective. We're, like I said, we're down for the year, but we're not down by much, just a couple percent or so. And here we are in May the 10th, and we've had a good year up to this point. We've had a really good year for the trades we've made, so I'm happy with that. So if we ended the year here, it wouldn't be a terrible thing. After last year, we had a really good year, so not a big deal. Not a big deal. We just hang in there and ride it out. That's what I'm going to do, and I hope you do too. And rest of the week, just going to be looking for something to maybe try to make some money, pocket a little money if we can. And if the Novavax settles somewhere, we may just start adding a little bit more to that. We're pretty heavy in it now, so I don't know if I want to get too much more, but I probably got a little room for just a little bit more. All right, so hang in there, and we'll try to get back with you. May be able to get back with you this week. If not, going to be out of pocket next week, so probably won't be having any videos until maybe the end of the week when I get back. But we'll get with you as soon as we can. But hang in there and keep on trading. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.